Welcome to Cup of Go. This show is supported by you. If you want to learn how to support, find our Slack channel, find our email, our swag store, or anything else, please visit us at cupogo.dev. That is cupogo.dev. If you're a regular listener, there's no ad break anymore, at least for this episode. Let's kick it off. This is Cup of Go for July 26, 2025. Keep up to date with the important happenings in the Go community in about 15 minutes per week. I'm Shay Nachman.
And I'm Jonathan Hall.
Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, I caught a fish. Kind of. I did. My son kind of caught a fish.
That's a good start. Email or physical?
Yeah, we went fishing. The old kind of fishing with a rod and a reel. And it was a terrible day for fishing. The fish were not biting. But our neighbor on the dock caught one, had it on the line, let my son reel it in. So my son got to say he caught a fish, a little 6-inch rainbow trout.
Awesome. That's a good reason to take a break. I was camping out in Lassen National Park, and my daughter played in the snow for the first time in her life.
Nice.
And she was super excited and singing like Let It Go, Let It Go.
Yeah,
she loved it.
Of course. Why not?
So we took a break. We took a week off. We appreciate you. I don't know how you managed to survive without us, but there's a lot of news to talk about. We wanted to do a conference roundup, so kick us off, Jonathan.
Yes, we've got a bunch to talk about. First up, in Manchester, in the UK, JB Tana, listener and friend of the show, is doing a hands-on dependency workshop at FATSOMA. That's on Wednesday, July 30. That's just next week. So if you are in or want to be in Manchester, check that one out. Link in the show notes. Next up, FineConf 2025. We've talked about it before. We've talked about it last year. Andy Williams, also a good friend of the show, is organizing this one for Fine, the GUI library and framework for Go. They're still looking for some speakers. The conference takes place September 19. If you'd like to speak, though, about Fine or something related, let Andy know. They're still looking for speakers, and they'll help cover your cost of travel if you need that. So, if you'd like to be in Edinburgh, Scotland, either to attend or to speak, reach out to Andy Williams. Link also in the show notes.
So these are two conferences by friends of the show, but there's also the wiki.
There's also the wiki and enemies of the show.
What's been going on
theoretically.
There.
Yeah, so
enemies
the wiki,
of the show.
Enemies of the show. The Rust conference is happening. No.
I don't think the Rust conferences are enemies.
I don't think so.
I'm willing
either.
to accept the Erlang, the Clojure.
I don't know. I like
the
Erlang.
JavaScript, the Python.
I don't know.
Rust and Go people are friends.
All right. So anyway, the Go wiki forever has had a page about conferences. I used to just check that every week. It rarely gets updated anymore since it's not really a wiki, but it's been updated recently. So I'm going to breeze through these. Next up, we talked about this on the last episode. Go South Africa is happening August 6th through 7. It's an online conference, so you can attend even if you're not in South Africa. GopherCon UK is happening August 13 through 15 in London. GopherCon, just GopherCon. I guess it's GopherCon US, but it's the original.
It's just like Prince.
Yeah. It's happening in New York. The artist
formerly known as GopherCon.
This one's happening in New York City. That's in the United States. For those of you who don't know where New York City is, that's August 26th through 28th. August is a busy month for Go conferences. GopherCon India will be happening September 14th through 15th. Is that Jaipur, or how do you pronounce that city? Do you know?
I actually have someone who speaks Indian right next to me, so let me ask 1 second.
Okay.
Parin, how do you pronounce Jaipur? Jaipur.
Okay.
Thank you, Parin. You are now forever on the episode of Cup of Go for this poor guy just sitting next to me in the office.
GopherCon India will be coming up September 14 and 15 in Jaipur, India. Go Lab will be happening in Italy on October 5 through 7 in Florence, Italy. Go West, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. We had the organizers on the show. This is happening.
So what is the Go West conference?
Yeah, so we wanted to create a conference that's more accessible to a lot of people. Because, a lot of people can't really afford to go spend, $500, $600, $700 to attend a conference, right?
This is happening October 24 in Lehi, Utah. That's also the United States. And the last one for now, GopherCon Africa, will be happening, not to be confused with Go South Africa. This is GopherCon Africa. They're two different conferences. August 24 and 25 in Lagos, Nigeria. Whew, I think I'm done.
One thing I'm excited about in GopherCon India is they are hosting, other than I think the call for papers is still open, and I think they're also still looking for sponsors. But it's a first that I see. They have a language roast. So they're gonna do a debate on like which programming languages is the best or whatever. Just like lighthearted roasting and laughs.
That sounds fun.
I mean, everybody likes doing it anyway. So
yeah, of course. Why not make it part of the conference and make it official?
Yeah, that's actually a cool idea. Yeah, August is busy. I'm like surprised because it's like exactly the weeks where the kids don't have any any more like camps or whatever, the last weeks of August. We highly recommend going to these meetups and conferences if you have the time. It's a great way to network and meet all these people, especially if you submit a talk and you actually show. Like, it's good for a lot of reasons. Recently, we found out that one of them is that you can talk about the Cup of Go podcast in the meetup or the conference, and then more people listen to the show.
Yeah,
but it's good. There's a long archive here. I love how there's like, if you want to know like when the Go conference in Tokyo in 2013 was, you can find the link. I don't know, maybe it's useful.
All right.
But there are still a lot. What I'm saying is there are still a lot of call for papers open. So if you have any cool things to share or you need some motivation to write the thing, you could definitely use that.
We will probably mention some of these again as they come closer, but don't count on it. We'll try to remind you of the important ones so you don't forget, but we don't want to just be talking about conferences. Let's talk about some actual Go news.
Just one before. If you do like our friends of the show, Jamie and Andy, if you have a meetup coming up or you're arranging a new group or whatever, feel free to just contact us at the Slack group and we'll promote it for sure.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's how two of the ones we mentioned today came up. We from people just telling us from the
the conference I set up in San Francisco happened because of the podcast. So you know what I mean? We're all for it. All right.
So I've been hearing a lot about this Web3 thing. Is that old news now? Maybe it is, because I think we're talking about AI these days. But
AI is the cool news.
That's what this is, right? HTTP3, it's Web3. It's Web 4. I'm so confused. Yeah. What is this proposal?
It's Web forehead. It's where I place my hand whenever someone... No, it's not Web 3. It's HTTP 3.
Oh.
That's what this proposal is about. So Damian Neal, I think they're a member of the Google team, at least their email is at google.com, has a proposal to add HTTP 3 client and server implementations. And it's sort of like this progressive implementation of a thing in the standard library where there's a proposal to start with x/nat/internal/HTTP3. And then like once it's mature enough to walk on its own, you move it to HTTP3 for 2x/nat/HTTP3. And, from X to the standard library is a much taller order, but I consider X, and we talked about this a few times on the show, like things that aren't internal inside the X library, they're pretty stable normally for normal usage. If you want to use HTTP3, you could do it once this proposal is done. So this proposal has been open since late 2024, almost half a year now. And 2 days ago, it's been added to the active column of the proposals project. Since the beginning of the year, there's been a lot of like change lists implementing like this thing in the internal HTTP3 library. And I think this means that it's like, it's maybe ready to get promoted, or at least they want to consider promoting it and see what they need to do to clean it up. What is HTTP3 though? Like, why would we even want it?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is it and why would it not be included? I mean,
So I want to explain it in terms of HTTP 1 and 2. So if you don't know HTTP at all, this might be a bit confusing, but we can do like intro to networking 101 in a 15-minute show. So the big change is that HTTP 1 and HTTP 2 use TCP, but HTTP 3 is built on top of the QUIC protocol, which uses UDP. Actually, funnily enough, the best way to understand it is to actually read the RFC. Which is super rare, right? Usually when you read an RFC, you're like, what the hell is going on? What are all these details? Oh my God. But the intro to the RFC, to the relevant RFC, which is 9114, explains it the best. It's like, HTTP semantics, things like get and post and resource stuff, right? And the status code, like 200 is okay and 404 is not found. They're pretty good. HTTP 1 was a problem because it's like white space delimited text fields, right, for the HTTP messages. So it's really hard. While you can read it, like leads to ton of complexity in parsing, which we mention all the time on the show, right? Oh, security vulnerability
all these
parsing
bugs come from. Exactly, yeah.
And also it doesn't have multiplexing. Multiplexing meaning you can have like multiple connections on the same connection sort of thing. Because it doesn't have, the HTTP one doesn't have that, you need to open multiple TCP connections. And TCP, the protocol beneath HTTP in the layers, if you open multiple connections, they don't share parameters between them. So things like congestion control and things like, just network efficiency, they don't actually get utilized. TCP assumes that, the app above it will properly use that connection between the client and the server, but you end up opening 15 connections to the same API endpoint because you want to render 15 things on the page. This was HTTP 1. HTTP 2 has binary framing and a multiplexing layer, but because it's on TCP, on top of TCP, the multiplexing ended up being taking a big hit in reality, because if one of the streams in the multiplex connection gets like a TCP packet loss or a retransmission, they all wait because they're all in the same TCP connection. So it's sort of like, it's better because it's binary, and that's way better. And it should improve latency, but you end up like all the fast cars are waiting in the same light. You know what I mean? The same off ramp. So it tends to have a stall. And if you have tons of active transactions, like let's say that it's a web page, 50 API calls to the same server at the same time to, render maybe a very complicated dashboard in an SPA or something, HTTP 2 tends to perform worse, right? And it's completely opposite to what you would think. It's like, but it has multiplexing. Yeah, but actually it's better to open 50 network connections instead of having all 50 of them go through one. Since then, there's a new transport protocol called QUIC, QUIC, the technical details of which are absolutely fascinating, but I can't explain them. I need like 3 hours, honestly. But they use UDP on top. So you don't have all this like retransmission, blah, blah, blah. You just send it. Because you provide the reliability at the stream level, and the congestion control is across the entire connection, because UDP doesn't really have the concept of connections, right? It improves the performance of HTTP compared to like TCP map. It's also more secure because it has TLS 1.3 at the transport layer. So it has a lot of benefits, and practically it's just faster. Like all these things end up to it being more efficient. You get you don't have the setup latency of a TCP because it does TCP fast open. Like always, when you talk about protocols, the devil's in the detail, right? There's a lot of things you need to take care of, and push promise and caching and gateways and go away. And there's so many details here and so many security vulnerabilities just waiting to get discovered, you know what I mean? And you have to frame types and error codes and blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of detail. The proposal and all the change lists attached to it are basically, let's implement it and go. There is a package called QuickGo, but it's not part of the standard library. And things like HTTP implementations, I think it sort of intuitively makes sense why it should be part of the standard library, right? That's where we're at right now. There's a lot of change lists for the internal implementation. And if you actually open up the change lists themselves and look at the details, it's not simple. You know what I mean? It's not easy to understand what's going on. And there's to-dos in the code. Oh, defer, cancel, read. I got to parse it. I need to detect panics. Consider tracking the never index status of headers with the N bit set in their QPAC encoding. It's a very, very detailed sort of work to implement these protocols. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, and maybe you want to read this and read the spec and make sure they did it correctly, these change lists are open now, and you can find the latest ones in the proposal. And I'm excited to see what will happen now that it's moved to the active column.
Yeah, is there any pushback on this proposal? Is there anybody saying no, we shouldn't put this in Go, or not yet, or is it more just hashing out the details about how to do it?
So actually, it's just Neil. It's sort of an umbrella proposal where Neil said we're going to do this, and then Gopher bot is like, here are all the change lists. Now there's a open issue for like implementing HTTP3 in the standard library. In 2019, it was a draft. Oh, this issue was opened in 2019, right? By Johan Branderhorst Satzkorn. Yeah, actually from Canada, so I don't know. But he's like, there is an implementation of a quick Go, like existing one in pure Go. And the discussion started like 2019, and then you scroll down to the most recent thing. It's like 2024, and the quick implementation is already not in internal. So it's just very progressively going forward. Actually, there's no pushback. The only thing was like, hey, in 2023, someone was like, all the major browsers already support HTTP3. Why don't we have this already? So, it's like, I mean, there's been a lot of discussion, especially when it got started. But the thing was like, we don't want to put it in the standard library before the spec dies down and everybody implements it and all the smoke clears up. I think now we're at that point. Like back in 2020, it wasn't even finalized by the IETF. So putting it then wouldn't be a smart idea. Go standard library is not quick to adopt all these new technologies. Now it's not a new technology
It's
anymore.
not quick, but ching.
Nice.
So I guess this will be in the next version of Go, since all they have to do is tell Claude that they want HTTP3 and it'll just spit it out, right?
I don't even want to, Actually, the scariest part is how much of the spec has been written with AI, right? The code is the easy part, but if someone was like, I don't want to worry too much about the details of TLS and Quick. Somehow I feel like the people working on this proposal take their job slightly more seriously than
I
that.
hope so.
Basically
all right.
Building the internet.
We've got a couple more items to talk about, a little bit quicker, I think. The next one is...
Quicker?
Okay, so the next one is from DataDog. DataDog had a blog post, how Go 1.24's Swiss tables saved us hundreds of gigabytes. Now, when I first read the headline, I thought, I understand this story. They do Swiss tables thing, which we talked about in the past briefly, the way they do the new implementation for maps, hash mapping works in Go. Saved a bunch of memory. That's cool. So I started reading it, and they start by saying, we had some terrible memory regressions in Go 124. Like, what? This is the opposite of what I was expecting to read. So they upgraded from 1.23 to 1.24, and their memory usage got worse, and they started investigating, working with the Go team, and they did find the regressions and solve that. But in the meantime, once they solved the regressions, they noticed that some of their services were using much less memory than before, and it turns out that's because of this new Swiss tables implementation. So the article goes into some pretty low level detail, like bit mapping of memory registers and stuff. So if you're into that sort of thing, to want to understand the nitty gritty of why, I'm not going to read that to you. You have to go read it yourself. But I thought just the TLDR was interesting. They went after a regression which was using much more memory. Process ended up saving a ton of memory as well in some cases. That's kind of a fun story if you like tech sleuth stories.
It is. It looks detailed and super well written. Like there's charts explaining the old table and the new table and the hashes and the addresses and the groups. Very, very cool. So they upgraded and it made it worse, but then they fixed the part where it got worse and got better. So overall,
a net win.
Yeah, net win for the Swiss tables, right?
Yes.
One other thing they mentioned is that they use the Go community a lot. Like they collaborate a lot with other people in the community, which is pretty cool from Datadog. That like reached out and now they're sharing their results as well. That's the way to go when you're a big company like Datadog, to make sure that the ecosystem you use is actually, you know what I mean? It's like they give back, sort of. That's what
It's one of the nice things about open source. Is everybody benefits from changes like this.
And they have a few tricks as well, like setting the Go memory limit and looking at, obviously being Datadog, they're like, oh my God, runtime metrics and profiling were critical to our investigation, which you can do with Datadog. But the bottom line is they reduced 70% in map memory usage, basically without changing the logic.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
I also have a company who did optimization blog post. Again, we're not going to go super deep into the detail, but Turso Tech, they do like, I don't know if you heard of it, but it's like SQLite for every, they spin up like a tiny SQLite instance for every AI agent in your thing.
Okay.
And they re-implemented SQLite in Rust.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of cool. They have some very techy things going on. I haven't actually used it, but they had a headline that like caught my eye. I was like, we rewrote large parts of our API in Go using AI. I was like, ooh, cool. Did they write like a language generator, a tool, or whatever? No, it turns out the developer is called Avinesh. So it's Avinesh Intelligence. Okay, they got the clickbait. But they like had to fully rewrite their API just because of performance issues. They have a thing where they have a database per agent, and then people started using a ton more agents and more AI and whatever. So they had a lot more tiny databases to set up. And they used a trick we shared in the show called interning. If you remember, we mentioned it with a pretty recent thing. The blog post, I think, was 2024. Maybe it's not that recent, almost a year ago. Jesus. But we actually took our sweet time reporting that. But they used a unique.handle because, it's the same user talking to a different DB. So it made sense to intern like the app. That saved them a ton of memory. And the second thing they did as a SQLite company is, okay, we will like do a cache and we will store the the second layer of that cache, we'll store it in SQLite. And the cache miss is like very fast because they use like fast disks instead of keeping everything in memory because they want to scale to 1 billion databases. So just these are way more normal and useful tricks to deal with like memory issues in Go. Datadog obviously have like real huge company problems.
Yeah.
This is slightly more basic. So if you're earlier in your like scaling out journey, maybe this blog post is useful for you as well. All about managing memory. Like people don't have enough memory. Why don't they just download more RAM?
I can't remember why I didn't do that last time.
Went fishing.
Went fishing and forgot everything I knew.
All right. No ad break. Let's jump to the lightning round.
Let's do it.
Lightning round.
All right. First up in the lightning round, you probably remember a few weeks ago, we said we're never going to talk about error handling again in Go. Well, I'm breaking my word. We found something by Daniel Harp. He posted on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago, that the Go team has given up on error handling, and that kind of upset him a little bit. So he decided to just write his own version of error handling. I'm not sure what problem that really solves, but it's kind of neat to see someone try this. He implemented a throw operator. So anybody who follows Go on social media probably already knows this has happened, but the Go team, specifically Robert Grassimere, has published a post about this error handling in Go. TLDR, we've been talking about improving error handling for years with dozens or hundreds, possibly thousands of proposals directly or indirectly related to it, and cannot get anywhere close to consensus. So Go team has decided for the foreseeable future, we will stop pursuing syntactic language changes for error handling. We will also close all open and incoming proposals that concern themselves primarily with the syntax for error handling without further investigation. It's not what you think. It's not like try catch or whatever. It's a little bit different than that. You don't even have to write the word throw. Use the caret. And basically use the caret in place of the error value in an assignment. Whenever that gets assigned to, it immediately returns. So there's a link in the show notes to his code. It's working code. It's a fork of Go. You can install it if you want to. It's just kind of a cool thing to look at. I don't imagine anybody's going to use this for production stuff since it's an unofficial fork of Go, but it's kind of a neat thing to look at. So that's mine.
I love the comments. This is like so LinkedIn coded. People are just like, I think a language like Java will be more suitable for you. There's nothing wrong with Go's verbose error check. I actually think LinkedIn is a PSYOP parody site, and they're just waiting to let us know. I like it. It's cool. It's a cool thought experiment.
Yes, exactly.
My lightning round bone to throw is it's the reason it's lightning round and not a main thing. It's because not actually about Go. It's about Kubernetes. But I assume a lot of our listeners are actually like sort of platform engineers, DevOps kind of people, just because a lot of the people who work in Go tend to be that sort of person. So there's a pretty well-written blog post by Ahmet Alp-Balkan, I hope I'm saying that correctly, about the Kubernetes list API performance and reliability. They run hundreds of thousands of bare metal servers over hundreds of Kubernetes clusters. Jesus. And just the API call to list the resources has some pretty funky defaults with like pagination and watch cache, which make it, when you combine them both, it makes it like super slow. And then it's a pretty cool blog post because it lists like some upstream improvements in like some various versions, and lists like points you towards the actual GitHub discussions. And finally, it's like the recommendation is upgrade your clusters, enable audit logs, and like, you know, use these privileged RBucks, experiment with the Go GC environment variable to tune garbage collection and Kube API server processes. And they were like, we found that setting it to 200 is better than not setting it at all. I mean, a useful trick. If you end up managing so many Kubernetes resources, look back at your life, see what you did wrong, and choose another profession. But as long as you have to deal with it, I think this blog post could be useful for you. Also, like cool. Pretty well written. All right.
Well, I think that wraps it up. No break today. Enjoy your
following your
week.
Feedback.
Yeah. See you next time.
Program exited.